Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Northside Ploud with Pop.1 Podcast. I'm here with my boy Alexander Valido. We got a nice show for you guys tonight, episode 2 of the Pop.1 Podcast. You guys stay tuned for that and get ready. We got One Piece. We're talking about a lot of One Piece today, about us getting LCQs, all this other stuff. And we're also going to be ranking our favorite card games here in America and talk about some in Japan. So you guys just sit back, relax, and enjoy the Pop.1 Podcast. All right. We're back here with the Pop.1 Podcast, episode 2, man.
Yes,
episode 1 was really good.
It's fun.
Did you like it?
I loved it.
Do we look good? Did you guys? I got a lot of good feedback. You know what I mean? And everybody was like, man, it's about time. You know what I mean? Like, it's just about time you guys really started doing the podcast. And me and you have done podcasts. We talked about it in the last episode. And what sucks is, like, people are going back and looking up Pop.1 Podcast episode 1, and they're going back to, like, the old one that you and Danny did, which go check it out. We thought we were going to, like, private them, but it's like the YouTube channel is going to be like a
time chamber.
Like a time capsule. Yeah, like go back and just see the progression, which we already do that. You know, we have good stuff. But before we get started, I got something cool for us to look at, kind of talk about. And it's the hottest trend nowadays. We have a Labubu blind box. And we're going to open this on camera, I guess, real quick. Yeah. And then this is like the newest, craziest thing.
It's the weirdest thing to me. These trends that happen, you have to tell me whenever these happen, because I had no recommendations for these Labubus. Then you brought it up, and out of nowhere, I started getting a bunch of Labubu TikToks.
Yes,
on my algorithm.
yes. Well, we did a Labubu. We had Lucy at the NAIC go around, and I said, you know, it would be like a little cute video. Just go around and see how many Labubus you can find.
She got a bunch.
Yeah, she got a bunch. Y'all go check that out. TikTok.
And then what was funny too, like I got a Facebook notification that this gas station by my mom's house was selling Labubus. They had like 6 in stock. I call her up and I'm like, you should go buy these.
Well, dude, there's a lot of fake ones.
Are they?
A lot. And Pop Mart's been a thing for a while. Me and Ruby have been collecting the blind boxes forever. But there's a lot of fakes, dude. Good ones, there's really good ones, but there's really bad ones. A lot of people are going for the fake ones because they're so bad and they look so funny. But that's a whole thing. But today we have a seat. This is one of the lines in Labubu. These are the ones where they're sitting down. You can get, it's a blind box, so let me throw it up on the camera for you guys. All right, you can get all these guys right here. Labubu, have a seat. And we'll do this quick because we do have topics today. But I decided, Alex did not know about this, by the way. I kept it on the low. But let's open up a Labubu. We're doing a little ASMR.
That's the first one I've ever seen open.
This is real.
I know.
I got this off Pop Mart. Yeah. I did the deal. Shout out Josh. Me and him have been farming these things. Now they made it so difficult to get it, and they're actually banning these in the actual Pop Mart stores. The physical stores in the United States are banned. So it's crazy. Oh, you're not supposed to, I saw the card. So we didn't get the secret one. You can get a secret. It's like 1 in like 75. But this is our Labubu. See, which one is this? And the cards go with them. So when you're trading them, you got to have the card too. You know, hey, it's Pop.1. It's got cards. We got it doesn't say it on here. Baba. We got Baba. So Baba is the Pop.1 Podcast Labubu. So the Pop.1 Podcast has a Labubu now.
We should put it in the background.
Put it in the background. We'll implement Baba in the background one day. But let's talk about One Piece, man.
Please.
One Piece. So you started playing One Piece just recently.
And started watching the anime.
Really? Started going in on the anime? How far are you in the anime?
Oh, man. I just got to Usopp.
Oh, okay. You got a long way to go.
Haven't made to Arlong Island yet.
Yeah, you got a long way to go, dude. But I say keep it going, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, literally do not stop. My New Year's resolution last year was to finish One Piece. And I had started the November before last year. And I will tell you, in December, November, I caught up all the way with the anime, and now I am reading chapter as they come out. So I am as caught up with One Piece as you can get. The saying of all sayings, and you will understand this one day. There's always too much until there's not enough. And that is exactly what it is with One Piece. There's going to be times where you're going to say, dude, I'm not watching this no more. I'm done. Like, this is boring. I do not want to watch this. Why are we 10, 15 episodes in the same spot? You know, fun fact that Luffy versus Katakuri, when you get way down there, Luffy versus Katakuri is actually the longest anime fight in, like, anime history. Yeah, get ready.
It's like Goku versus Frieza.
Yeah, you know, there was an argument me and Butters had a while ago, and I was like, there's no way it's longer than Goku and Frieza. No, it's
longer.
It is. Based on the time frame, now there is stuff that goes on during the fight, so it's like it's a back and forth argument, but it's documented as the longest fight. But you're watching the anime, you're playing the card game, and this morning we were before we get into that, we formally invited you to our One Piece traveling crew, which consists of me, the two Bryans, Josh, Devin. Well, he's out of town right now, but you're now a part of our traveling Bandai group.
Was there ever a doubt?
No. It's a long time coming, though. You know what I mean? A long time coming. I've been telling you guys that One Piece is the move. I love One Piece so much. You know, I'm going to grind this game out, and I'm actually decent at it. You know what I mean? It's like coming from Yu-Gi-Oh! X3 every locals. You know, not every locals. Come on, I wasn't that bad. But, you know, it was a rough time. And it's a rough time to keep up with meta. And the reason that me and Devin like got into One Piece was because it was brand new. The meta was like 2 decks, you know what I mean? And it was very easy to step into this game and grind it out like we did with Yu-Gi-Oh!
And be good.
Yeah, and be decent. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna say like we're the creme de la creme of One Piece players, but you know, we know our way around a counter or two. We know our way around some Dawn. You know what I mean? And going to that, we have been getting you into One Piece. I let you use the Shanks deck. You've gone ahead and bought a new deck. You did the blue purple Luffy.
So, you know, I come from Yu-Gi-Oh! And I asked one of the Bryans how much for this deck, and I can't remember what the exact total was, but it was less than $300. I was like, hold on. A brand new player getting into this game can buy the best deck of the format for $300. In Yu-Gi-Oh! For 3 cards, I'd be spending more than $300.
Yeah, you ain't used to it, huh?
Yeah, and it was so funny. So people were like, so what do I need for the blue? So I got the blue-purple Luffy deck. I don't know what the code name for that is. But
Up Luffy. They do Up Luffy because black purple Luffy is a thing. So that's BP Luffy.
Right, which is confusing to me.
Yeah,
but
you'll
I'll
get used to it.
I will say, though, I needed some Katakuris. And some guys at local were like, yeah, you need this card. It's kind of expensive, though. And I go to my local card shop that had a place, or had 3. I only needed 3. I had 1 already. And they're like, yeah, it's going to be $19. I was like, wait, this card's only $6?
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, that's expensive. I'm like, that's expensive?
Yeah, I mean,
that's mind-blowing to me.
You know, now I will say when One Piece like first started, it was expensive. It was very expensive. Borsalino, to the seasoned players, Borsalino now you can pick a copy up for like $1 or $2. You know what I mean? It used to be $75 because nobody could find this stuff. When Bandai started, they did not print nearly enough because they didn't think it was going to do anything. OPO1 actually had a slow start. I don't think it was till like OPO2, beginning of OPO3 when the game really started to take off. And it was just very hard to find cards. And the player base like blew up so quickly that they just couldn't keep up. Now they're doing okay with it, you know, and cards like that, or when an SR comes out in a set, yes, it's going to be expensive for the first few weeks, kind of like a Yu-Gi-Oh thing, you know, you got to kind of let the market level out. But, you know, for the most part, they've all been like getting to a decent level deal, you know, and the market's kind of, you can read the market pretty well. You can tell, like, for example, this latest set, OPO11, there's a lot of it. And it was the same with OPO9 and 10. So you can tell that they're printing a lot more than they were. And right now, there's a lot of OP11.
Yep.
The set's kind of tanking.
That's good though.
Yeah.
That's good for the player base because we talked last episode and we talked to a lot of people about scalping. We want to have players in this game. That's how you keep players in the game, is to keep the game affordable. And to me, spending $250 for an entire deck is affordable.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And you don't have to change it every time a new set comes out.
Yeah, and for what I understand, a Blackbeard deck is a really good rogue deck. It can definitely do numbers at a regional. What, $50-$75?
Yeah, because they just now, and we'll talk about PRB2 in a second, but they just now, the whole deck doesn't have alt arts. The only alt you can get for the deck, I believe, is like if you want to play a certain card like Labubu and stuff, it has alts. But Blackbeard, the character, he has an alt. The manga, and yeah, he has 2 alts, and the leader.
Yeah.
All the other cards are like rares, like basics. You know what I mean? 50 cents, $1. And now they're starting to get some reprints. But yeah, it's a very good deck, and it's very cheap. If you want to play One Piece, now is it the easiest deck to play? No, it's not. You gotta have a little. You gotta know your deck and know your opponent to be an optimal Blackbeard player. But great deck it is, and you can pick it up very easily if you start learning the game and learning the meta and learning everything. Blackbeard's a decent deck, dude. It is.
This is an affordable game with great pride support.
Incredible prize support.
And an incredible community.
Yes, I agree to that. I think One Piece community is definitely, for me personally, a breath of fresh air.
Same.
I enjoy being around the people. I have friends up in Houston, not Houston, in the Dallas area, and that's where we're going for Bandai Fest, so I'm excited to see those guys. Shout out Dylan Brister. We get to see him every single time. I want to give him the shout out in the podcast.
I wonder if he's going to be excited to see me.
He's going to be so happy.
We see each other every Yu-Gi-Oh event, and we always play each other. Doesn't matter what the event's the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
And here we are, and it's like, okay, it's time to play Bandai.
Oh, dude, he's such a good guy, man. I love whenever, because it's so funny. Every single time, like, we don't even think about hitting each other up before the events. It's like, as soon as I get there, like, whatever, like the last one, it was like, he just texted me. He's just like, Shreveport Regional ? And I'm just like, where are you at? And then, we end up, he was actually in one of the TikToks and everything. I don't think he did better than, we all kind of just did okay at the regional. But it's always good seeing him. And shout out to Dylan, man.
Shout out to the whole community. But speaking of Bandai Fest.
Yeah.
Didn't we?
Yeah, so today the LCQ went live.
Yeah.
And me, you, and Josh will be the ones going, and maybe Butters. Butters might sneak along and tag along with us. He loves going to those things. We don't have our invites yet. The Bryans got theirs, but we don't have ours. So the LCQ, we were able to get into the event. We're not on the wait list. We were able to get in, which it was kind of slow this time. I will say I'm kind of worried about that because dude, that was probably the easiest event that I've ever gotten into.
Yeah, I didn't know what I was doing. Like, it took me a solid 3 to 4 minutes to figure out how to even buy.
Yeah, and then you were able to still get in.
Yeah, I was still
and I was like, this is. But after thinking about it and everything, this year was the first year that they implemented the store regionals and store treasure cups.
So it's easier to get your invite. Is that what's happening?
Do you get invites off treasure cups?
You're asking the wrong guy.
I don't know. I'll get back to that. But I know the store regionals, you're able to get invites, and that's how the Bryans were able to do it. There was a few in Louisiana, a few in Alabama, and North Mississippi and stuff like that. So able to go and do stuff like that. And that was a big thing with the community, and that's one thing I like about Bandai. They definitely listen to us because they're like, dude, it's impossible to get in these regionals. I mean, they cap them out at like 560. Yu-Gi-Oh! It's however many people show up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At a YCS, and these are YCS tiers. You know what I mean? Like, regionals, I don't know, because YCSs can be 800 people, or they can be like 3,000.
In other card games, regionals are what YCSs are.
Yeah.
So
like a
that's
Yu-Gi-Oh
weird
regional, just think of it as like a big ass, depending on where you are, but like a big ass locals. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, in California, you can't have like a 200, 300 man regional. Texas and stuff like that. But like where we are, like in like Georgia, Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, like those regionals, like they'll cap out at like 200. But that'll be like the max,
But I'm excited to play my first tournament.
Yeah,
like
and
that.
this is going to be an LCQ. So for this being your first like big One Piece event, it's going to be really fun, dude. And Bandai Fest really does their tournaments well. Now their events, they could be a little bit more, and I'm hoping this year they take the advice from the players and stuff and say, hey, we need a little bit more. But Bandai Fest last year, I had a blast, dude. It's just the One Piece day was kind of mid, but I was a player, so I got to experience the whole thing. Now Butters, he was just a spectator, and there wasn't much for them to do. They didn't even have tables and chairs set up for people. But that's a whole nother story. We're going to Bandai Fest, and this is the festival for all Bandai games. You got Digimon, you got Dragon Ball Super, you got Battle Saga. I think that's what it's called.
Transformers?
No, not Transformers. The new Gundam game.
Gundam. I confused the two. Don't judge me.
Hey, man, we're both not fans of it. It's not our fault, you know what I mean? But I'm excited for it because it is a fandom that, like we talked about in last episode, I didn't know there was a lot of people like super into it, but there is. Brian Ha, for example, he has been a Gundam fan since not since it came out because he's not that old, but since he was young. And he keeps up with it. He still watches it. And I'm like, dude, that's crazy. I had no idea. I thought that show died. And it's kind of like Digimon, too. I didn't know Digimon's still going on. They're still doing Digimon stuff.
Yeah.
But, this will be an event for all the games and the amount of promo stuff you can buy that you can only get at these events. Not to mention at the last Bandai Fest, dude, we were able to buy any set of One Piece. And at that time, it was crazy. Like EB01, OP01, OP02. You could buy any box in a limit of 2. So if I wanted to theoretically buy, I think the set out at the time was like OP08. I could buy 2 boxes of OP01, 2 OP08 in one setting, and they had plenty. I mean, dude.
Was it priced good or was it?
It was retail, so like $100. Let's just say $100.
Insane.
Yeah.
And they do that for every Bandai Fest.
Well, we hope so.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? Like, you never know with these things. You really never know. Me personally, I don't think that, and I hope they don't go this route. I don't think that we need more prints of like OP01, OP02, because I think the PRB sets got the cards that we needed.
Yeah.
There might be some cards in OP02 that are just like crazy that we haven't gotten yet, which I don't think so. I really don't think so. But, I hope that they don't start reprinting older sets because it goes back to the collector's value of a lot of this stuff. You know what I mean?
We're speaking of, we're about to get what is it, PRB?
Mm-hmm.
We're about to get one before Nats. Or before this Bandai Fest, I should say. I'm still confused in my terminology.
It is One Piece Nats.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact date for PRB2, but they are leaking a lot of stuff, and Nats is in September, so I would think so. I think we actually get OP12.
When's this LCQ that I signed up for today?
So this will be in September.
Okay.
We're going in September.
September 19th, I believe it said.
Yes.
Yeah.
That could be different, but yes. And, yeah, the LCQ, and they changed it too. You can only go X2 and get your invite. So last time there was people that went X2 that
how many rounds
didn't get it. 8.
See, that's so healthy though.
It's 8 or 9. I want to say if it capped out at the 500, it might be 9, but it's always whoever's the last undefeated. So it could be 8. Right. You know what I mean?
Still though, that's incredibly healthy for a card game because, in Yu-Gi-Oh, it's so disheartening to go X2 an entire event and get 33rd. Yes.
Yes, and that happens often. Yeah. But it does happen like that in One Piece too. I mean, like, I'm not necessarily a fan of the last undefeated in a lot of cases, like especially like locals and stuff, because there'll be so many X1s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just like I feel like maybe one more round would determine the actual like
it does make the day go by faster though.
It does, but sometimes when I'm in the zone or like if I'm already X1, you know what I mean? And there's like 6 other X1s, and then it's like we should run another round to kind of dwindle those down. Like, you know what I mean? Like I want to properly play for second place. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just a competitor in me though.
That's why these bigger events they have top cuts, so that way you can play that out.
There will be a top, not for the LCQ though. So that'll be a straight 8 to 9 round Swiss.
Gotta go X2, call it a day.
X2, but they're making it. I believe this is what the group chat saying. I haven't like read this or anything, but I believe that, and many people have said this. It's not just like me, going off the group chat, But it has been stated that X2s will get the invite to play in the Nationals.
Yeah, we confirm that later.
Which would be crazy.
Yeah.
I got to play meta again.
Yeah.
I can't bring an L. I hope I can, honestly. I hope an L's good.
I got to get good at this game.
Nah, you will, dude. You will. You're coming from Yu-Gi-Oh! I stand by this. And I will tell you that Yu-Gi-Oh! If you can play a game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Like a legit game, Synchro Summon, XYZ, Link Summon, Pin Summon, if you can do stuff like that, you can play One Piece tonight.
Yeah, because like the most combo, like I'm playing Blue Purple Luffy. The biggest combo I'm learning right now is like the stacking of the decks when you have 8 Don down. And it's like thinking like 2 steps ahead, right? Like I set up obviously the Sanji summon, but also got to think about the Big Mama placed on top of the deck. So then, Sanji summon Big Mama, lower my opponent's field, give them a life, and the top card of my life. And then I want to make sure that it's a trigger. And then on my opponent's turn, whenever they're attacking, I reset my Don with the, what is that, the Gum Gum that discards 1, put 2 Don back.
Oh, Gum Gum Giant.
Yeah, Gum Gum Giant. So
best card in the game.
Yeah, I'll Gum Gum Giant, put 2 Don back, and then take a hit on my leader because I know I'm gonna trigger and get one of my Don back and be able to re-look at the top 5. Like that. That's such a simple concept to me, but like I didn't know that without being told that first, and it's like, okay, this is not that hard of a concept to understand for a combo.
You just know the lines.
Yeah, just gotta know the lines.
And it's easy to like the thing, like you're playing a blue deck. So every color has their thing. Blue is the stacking, purple's the Dawn manipulation, green is also like a special type of Dawn manipulation, yellow is all life and triggers and stuff like that, and your red is your super aggro, and the black is more manipulating cost and stuff like that. It's really cool, man. And once you get all that down, dude, you're going to love this game. You already love it. Yeah. And you're enjoying it. You've been to a few locals. You've actually slapped around a few of our locals. And
I beat one person who, one of the Brian Ha. I beat him in a match. It was a case of I just had everything.
Yeah.
Which, what I love is it doesn't happen too much in this game. This game is very skill expressive. I think the mulligan helps a lot with it.
Yes.
But
don't you love that?
I do love that. and I love that more than other card games too, because in other card games you like lose a card or things like that. But in this card game, it's just you get one mulligan if you want to do it or not. And I think that's fantastic. But also this game's fair enough to where that's not a broken concept.
Yeah.
And when I played him, I had a really good hand because I had no business beating him.
No, not at all. But it does show you that One Piece is such a simple game, but it's also a very hard game at the same time. Yeah. It's weird. It's like you can't, like when you say it's like a very I kind of think the opposite. I just think that if you're able to read cards and understand how they move together, it's skill, but it's not at the same time. There's a lot of RNG in it, but not as much as like Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, you know what I mean?
When I did a playtest session on Friday, I think the feedback I got, so obviously I learned the combo lines, so now I got the combo lines down pretty well. They said the biggest thing for me is learning how to properly counter.
Yeah.
And how to properly take, like, life.
Yeah.
Because my mind is like, okay, card advantage isn't as big of a thing I'm starting to realize in this game as other card games, and that's a hard concept for me to grasp. But just learning when to counter properly and when not to, and learning when to swing for game versus clear the board. I think those are two key crucial aspects of this game.
Yeah. Once you know the decks.
Yeah.
You know how to peep graveyard, understanding counters, what your opponent could have in hand.
Yeah.
Watching their Dawn, watching your Dawn. You get it down. You get it down.
If they have one Dawn, they have like a counter in hand.
Yeah.
It's not a hard concept. It's just
Well, this the moral of this is it's so easy to get into these communities, man. Yes. It's so easy to join up, make new friends, and join old friends into a new game. I think it's beautiful watching.
There's no gatekeeping because coming into this game, I went to that shop, and my experience in Yu-Gi-Oh has been you're nothing unless you're good at this game.
Facts.
In One Piece, it's not like that.
No, it's they're ready for you to learn.
They're ready. They're ready.
It's one of my favorite card games, man, and it's at the top of my list. And on our next, after we take our little break, we'll talk about tier list and everything like that. that we think.
Of all the card games.
Yeah, and here in America, and also talk about the Japanese tier list that just came out.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild. All right, let's take this break and see you guys in a sec. Yo, what's going on, everybody? We're going to interrupt this episode and tell you about our sponsors. Yes, our sponsors over at Dueling Guard. These guys definitely have everything you need for your TCG journey. Go ahead and head on down to duelingguard.com. Check out their deck boxes, their playmats, their binders, their anime art cards. They have it all, and I swear I love this stuff. I back it all the way. I personally use binders and deck boxes from Dueling Guards for all of my TCG play. When I'm going to bigger tournaments, or even if I'm going to smaller tournaments, they have everything I need to be comfortable in my competitive scene. I love the size of their deck boxes. They fit perfectly in my book bag without any type of clutter. You know what I mean? When you have them big deck boxes and it's just so cluttery in your book bag, it makes your book bag kind of get deformed after a little while. These are great for that because they're a nice slim fit. They also have so many different sizes of deck boxes. So if you don't like the size of one of their deck boxes, I'm sure they'll have something to fit your certain criteria whenever you're going to these big events. Their playmats are super high quality. I really enjoy playing on them, and their binders are peak. They're side loading, they zip up, they're just really good binders all in all, and they fit perfectly in your book bag. They also have different accessories like playmat holders and different bags that you can take out. I'm telling you now, you guys are definitely going to want to support Dueling Guard, man. They are very awesome in what they do. So go to duelingguard.com, use code Pop.1 at checkout. You guys get a discount. It helps us out a lot. We really enjoy having Dueling Guard around, and we thank them so much for what they do for the community and for Pop.1 Podcast. All right, let's get back to the show. Okay, so we're back from that beautiful Dueling Guard ad. We love Dueling Guard so much. You guys like Dueling Guard?
I love Dueling Guard. I have their Full Metal Alchemist deck box. I love that.
Oh, really?
box.
Yeah, that's the one that has like the hollow on the front and everything.
Yeah,
the foiled. Oh, dude, I wish I got one of those. I hope they send me some of the new One Piece tech boxes, man.
We should hit them up.
Yeah, I should. Okay, so Japan dropped their top 10 trading card game series sales. This is the sales. This is what's popular in Japan.
Just in Japan, though.
This is Japan, and there's some questionable
surprises on there.
surprises, and you're not the number 2 is what's craziest to me, and we'll go over that.
Let's hear it.
Number 1's Pokemon. We love Pokemon.
It's going to take a lot for that to change.
Yeah, the number 1 entertainment franchise in the world.
Yeah.
Just Pokemon, man. We all know Pokemon. I bet your parents know what Pokemon is.
Yeah.
You know, I would kind of say that your grandparents might know them too.
RIP.
Yeah, mine too. But, you know, we're here. Okay, so Pokemon's number 1. Number 2? Tool. Number 2 is Duel Masters.
I don't even know what that is.
Okay, so Duel Masters, I remember the anime coming out on Toonami, let's say 2006. Probably around the same time Naruto started airing. But Duel Masters was like kind of a Yu-Gi-Oh! Spinoff or whatever, you know. It was really cool. Hardcore anime kid with crazy hair, you know, and using cards, and the monsters came alive. It didn't work here in America. Did not work. I remember seeing the cards in the bargain bin. You know what I mean? Like, it just didn't work. And then I think they revamped it, and I'm wanting to say it got revamped into, you might know this, Kaijudo.
No.
Never heard of Kaijudo? It was another like anime, cards, blah blah blah, but it was the same game. I think so. I'm wanting to say I'm right, but
It's
I
real
don't know.
popular in Japan.
It's super
Nothing
popular.
Here. Like
No,
nothing at all.
never.
here.
You
Yeah.
do not hear about it. Apparently, they're
I
still
don't
making
even-
support and everything out in Japan.
I don't even remember Duel Masters. What's number 3?
One Piece card game. Hey!
That's insane to me. That's insane to me. Because I know there's a very popular card game. I already know what the next one is, but
Well, it's crazy that One Piece card game is like just that crazy over there.
Yeah.
Super big following with the anime, the manga, everything.
I didn't know One Piece was that big in Japan. Like, I know they do that, but to hear that it's number 3 in Japan for
before I
sales.
got on my One Piece journey, I didn't know it was that big here. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't know it was that. Like, I've always seen One Piece.
Yeah.
We've always seen One Piece. And being an anime fan for so long, it was like, I'm never. Like, you could not. It'll be the last thing I watch. Trust me.
What's number 4?
Yu-Gi-Oh. It's Yu-Gi-Oh, guys. Yu-Gi-Oh made number 4. Duel Masters beat Yu-Gi-Oh.
I mean, I'm not going to comment on the Duel Masters because, I don't live in Japan, so there's probably good reason for that.
Yeah.
But the fact that one PC beat Yu-Gi-Oh, that's an insane concept to me. Especially, a lot of people don't know this, but like Japan's structure of Yu-Gi-Oh is actually very healthy as far as like product goes. Some of the super expensive cards that exist in the TCG in Japan, like Mocharmy Fuelos, when that was $130 a copy here in America, in Japan we're talking like $15.
Yeah.
I would imagine if you're a Yu-Gi-Oh player in Japan, it's a lot less stressful in the wallet. If that was the case here in the TCG, like I would have way less complaints.
Yeah, and I think we would have a lot more players, to be honest, too. Yeah, but OCG, like, they do it like how every other card game here in America does. Pokemon, for example, you got VMAX Pikachu. We're just using VMAX Pikachu, probably a 50-cent card. This is old format, by the way. VMAX aren't even a thing. But VMAX, but you can also, if you want to be a little frisky, buy that big old chunky rainbow Pikachu. You can have fun.
You can get the crazy rarity.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, Yu-Gi-Oh does that, but they wait so long before
they wait too long. They wait until it's like not even like what's a good example of that? Can we talk about Brave Engine? Maybe that one?
Yeah, like by the time the Brave Engine got reprinted, the Brave Engine
nobody
wasn't
was
even
playing
relevant. And it was around for a long time.
And dude, that engine was so powerful at the time. Like people wanted it banned. Like that's how powerful it was.
And they're doing better at it now in the TCG.
Okay.
But that doesn't change like the reprints I'm talking about. But that doesn't change the fact that when the card first comes out, if you want to be a competitive player,
I think the cards for that now would be like the Malice cards and like the Rizul cards. And even the Mocharmy,
the Mocharmies, yeah. So like
they got a reprint. They got reprints.
I think the deck building sets are actually very healthy for the game. Like they're doing good with that. It's really the staples.
Yeah,
it's really the staples. But what's the rest of the list?
All right, so that was Yu-Gi-Oh. So number 5, which is okay, I can see it. White Swartz.
Okay.
Bushy Road. Is that who makes them?
No clue. I got friends that play Weiss Schwartz. I actually kind of want to.
Yeah, Will and all them play Vanguard. Don't they
actually got like top 4 at a YCS level.
I think they're called Bushiro. Sorry if I'm butchering it, but I think that's what the company is. And also, Duel Masters is it has it right here. Yeah, Bushi Road. And then Duel Masters is actually Takara Tomy, which does Beyblade.
Nice.
Which is like really cool. And I was like, okay, so
Beyblade's kind of popular.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's Beyblade X is like, okay, there's a line, dude, that and I kind of crossed the line. And I have 2 kids, so when I want to try something out, it's just like, hey, maybe the kids will like Beyblades. But like, do they have to have like the meta like Japanese only sticks that I buy and like the super crazy? Yeah, maybe not, but yeah. My kids have the meta Beyblade stuff.
Insane.
Shout out Takara Tomy. Oh, we have another Takara Tomy, and they're actually next on the list. And had no idea, still to this day. And it's funny when I saw this. This is actually in Zodiac RIP. I don't know if they came back to Facebook. Okay,
a bunch. That's
another story. Yeah, but this list was there, and somebody commented. They have a Detective Conan trading card game. Do you know Detective Conan?
Yes.
Case closed?
Yeah. What number is that? 6?
That's number 6, yeah. After Weiss Schwartz.
What's number 7?
Number 7, Detective Conan beat Lorcana.
That's hilarious. To be fair, though, how I understand we have a Disney in Japan, but like how big is the Disney IP in Japan?
Huge.
Is it really?
Huge. I went out there in 2018. There's a Disney store everywhere. They actually have their own Disneyland out there. And Winnie the Pooh is huge. Like over here we have Pikachu and Hello Kitty and I don't know, whatever. Lilo and Stitch, huge. Winnie the Pooh, huge. And Mickey Mouse, of course, is huge. So yeah, they actually have their own Winnie the Pooh ride out there. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. Yeah. So yes, Disney is very huge out there, and they do have a player. It's on the top 10. You know what I mean? It's okay.
What's number 8?
Number 8 is Yu-Gi-Oh! Rush Duel.
See, Rush Duel is kind of interesting. I feel like Rush Duel, the TCG wouldn't mind having Rush Duel come in, but with the failure of Speed Duel, I could see them not doing that.
Speed Duel sucks.
Yeah.
And they should have never brought it here.
But still, Detective Conan beating
Yeah.
Rush. That's insane.
It's wild. And then right after that, we have Vanguard. That is Bushy Road.
Okay. Vanguard's pretty popular.
We still have a locals here, actually, that play Vanguard.
And they're pretty dedicated to it.
Yeah. It's you know, to be honest, I've opened a few whenever like scalping was like a real bad thing down here, and like the only thing I could find at like Books A Million was Vanguard packs.
Yeah.
They're cool to open.
The way they do their sets and the way they like support the different decks is very healthy. I feel
they've been around for a long time too.
Yeah.
That's been a long game. Yeah, for a long time.
It's just hard to like do what One Piece is doing and breaking into the top.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
What's number 10?
And number 10 is another Bandai game with Battle Spirits.
What the hell is that?
So that's one of their like. Let's just say I'm wanting. I don't know nothing about it, but from me, the outside looking in, I'm wanting to say it's like their take on like a Yu-Gi-Oh type Magic game. You know what I mean? Based on the characters and stuff like that. It's like they made the character. I don't think it comes from like an anime. If it does, I'm sorry, I don't know it, but I think it's like Bandai's take on like let's create our own monsters type of thing and do that. But it's still popular here as well. They still stream it and stuff like that. What's crazy though is Digimon's not on this, and Digimon is huge in Japan. Huge. I don't want to say this, but like it's still up there like with Pokemon. Like you remember back in the day. In Japan, I'm talking about Japan.
Yeah, that's fair.
But back in the day, there was always like what's better, Digimon or Pokemon? And you know, like on a story aspect and like kind of like the art aspect, like Digimon was kind of like always like beating Pokemon, but like Pokemon's Pokemon. Like you know what I mean? Like the design and formula of Pokemon is easy to understand.
Pokemon was like the fact. I think Game Boy is what changed Pokemon forever.
That too. If
Pokemon was never able to be a video game and a trading card game as fast as it was.
I mean, they still lead in. I'm not gonna say lead, but like at that time, let's think about when Pokemon first came out. They had a #1 anime, a #1 video game, and a #1 trading card game.
Yep,
all three of them at the same time. Digimon had the anime, which did really good. But like their video games, like you had to be a hardcore fan to just sit back and play them. I had some of them. I don't remember any of them. And the trading cards, they were there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but Pokemon, I think the formula behind Pokemon is they just made everything like so user friendly. To this day, you can play the games.
I haven't played Pokemon in years, and I still know how to play the game. It's that simple.
You can play the games, and you can play the card game. You can sit back and enjoy the anime. It's just simple. Simplicity, maybe. And Digimon's very, you know, a little bit more detailed, and I think that's maybe what is the reason it didn't last so long over here. But it's still very popular there. I'm just surprised that the card game's not on the list. So let me give you my top 5 of trading card games that I think here in America are top moving.
Okay.
And #1 would be Pokemon.
Absolutely.
I think Pokemon is going to always be the #1 game of all time. A lot of people argue that Magic will be there, but I will say Magic will probably be #2. I think that Magic the Gathering will always have a player base, dedicated fan base, and I don't think it'll ever go anywhere. You have these celebrities paying millions of dollars for these trading cards. You have it's a game that there's actually grandparents that are playing this game that came from when it first came out. It's an old game.
It's a very old game.
What, 35 years, something like that? It could be 40 years. I don't know.
I think they with their 30th anniversary was that whole stuff they have with the proxies. But yeah, that game is old. That game is very, very old.
Now my third deal, it's difficult right now.
Yeah.
It's very difficult right now.
Now we're talking about just sales for this one. Your top 5 just sales.
If we're talking sales,
I think we're on the same page.
I think One Piece is going to have to take it, dude.
We're not.
I think One Piece is going to have to take it. Just based off of last year's situation with Yu-Gi-Oh! 100% One Piece. 100% One Piece. If you look at last year with Yu-Gi-Oh!, okay? Our local shop, for example.
So for the record, I'm not thinking Yu-Gi-Oh's third.
Oh. Okay. Well, let me finish my list then.
Yeah.
So if we're talking sales, Pokemon for sure. I will say I'll say Magic just because of the Lord of the Rings stuff and then the Final Fantasy stuff that just happened.
Yep.
It whenever they drop these special sets, SpongeBob, they did one of those. Fallout.
We got Sonic coming up, and then
Oh yeah,
Spider-Man.
the Sonic. Yeah. We'll say that.
Magic is 2.
4.
Third is One Piece, so 4.
Third is One Piece. 4. If we're talking sales, dude, I can't even put Yu-Gi-Oh! At 4, dude.
Okay.
I can't even put them at 4. I would probably have to put them at 4 though, because like I really don't know the sales data of other stuff here.
Yeah.
But I'll have to put them at 4. And if we want to go with a top 5, I would have to put Lorcana and Digimon like in the same thing,
Really?
like in the same bracket. I think that they're moving. Digimon might be moving a little bit faster than Lorcana right now. But I think they're kind of in the same realm. It's one of those things like when you go to Target, the last 2 things on the shelf is Lorcana and Digimon, and the piles are pretty much the same size, you know?
So my prediction for the top 5,
Okay.
Obviously number 1 is Pokemon. Just no doubt about that. Number 2, I have to agree, is Magic the Gathering. But number 3, we're talking about scalping here because this is just for sales. No one's scalping Yu-Gi-Oh! You go to a Walmart, you have a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! And you're right, you know, there's a lot of Lorcana available, but people scalp Lorcana. I would have to put Lorcana number 3.
I can't agree with that, dude. I go and hunt.
Yeah.
Every day. Like, I go and hunt.
Lorcana has stuff you don't want to buy. Like, there's some unpopular IPs in Lorcana, but there are some that are.
Now, if we go when it first came out.
Yeah.
Okay? Yes. 100%. Because they were in the Bandai situation. They didn't print enough. It's Disney. It's Mickey Mouse.
It's Disney.
It's Winnie the Pooh. You know, it's all the stuff that me and you grew up on. My kids are growing up on it. Our parents were on it. It's Disney. And it was going crazy.
I wouldn't be surprised if they sneak up in there.
They got to put Marvel characters out there, dude. I'm going to tell you now, if Lorcana dropped like... because they own Marvel.
Yeah.
They own Star Wars. So the Star Wars game, we won't even talk about that. I can't yet. There's not enough for me to like say this is something crazy.
If they start dropping Marvel characters, I agree. I think Lorcana will get 1,000,000 times more popular.
Oh, yeah. If they start putting them full art Spider-Mans.
Yeah. Number 4.
Hulk.
Number 4, I would say, is One Piece. I think One Piece is beating Yu-Gi-Oh! As far as like sales of the physical cards go. And number 5, I would have to go Yu-Gi-Oh!
It's fair.
Yeah.
Right now, though, like right now, if we're talking about the past year, I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think we're both right in a way.
Yeah. People can disagree.
I think that Yu-Gi-Oh! Like plummeted as hard as it ever could last year. Like 2024 was bad, dude. It was bad.
And it's so annoying because we were just in such a good place for it. And it's just so fast it gets to a bad place. Like all these amazing things happen. It's crazy to say. I think rotation is actually good for card games, and that's something that I never thought I would ever say. But now that I'm coming in and seeing rotation in One Piece, I'm seeing rotation what it does for Magic and Pokemon, seeing what Yu-Gi-Oh! Has done, making the ban list be the rotation. I genuinely believe set rotation is good for the health of cards.
Because there's too many damn cards in Yu-Gi-Oh!
It's more
too many.
It's more than that. So like for the longest, it's been fine. But you get to the point where power creep has to happen, and power creep is just happening too fast. Like what's happening in Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now is just insane. But what's happening in all these other card games, it's like I'm having more fun at least. That's the biggest thing. I'm having more fun. And a big thing about that is just communities.
Yeah, you know, it's sometimes you got to take a break from some things, man.
Yeah.
And that's all it is. You got diehard players in every single game, and they love their game.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They ride for this game. Like you said, you got friends that still play Vanguard. You got people that are still, you know, riding Digimon. You know what I mean? And I think I'll be that guy when One Piece kind of hits that downhill. I'm probably still going to be playing One Piece. I know people that still, like when I go to regionals and stuff, they're like, hey, man, you want to play Naruto with me? I got 3 decks on me. And I'm like, dude, are you talking about like that old Naruto game?
I
He's
missed
like,
that game. That was
he's
a
like, yeah.
fun game,
And I'm
yeah.
like, no, not really, but that's cool that you really have those decks on you. That's awesome, you know? And those cards are expensive, and it'll be like that for One Piece won't be forever.
It might be.
I hope so, but it's like the Digimon. I feel so bad for him, dude. Like, I really do, because Bandai has to focus on One Piece. They have to. Digimon had such a good run, dude. And honestly, if One Piece never came around, Digimon would be like in that top category. It really would be. I don't like, and they did the revamp of Dragon Ball Super. It's not on the list either. You know what I mean? So you see what Japan is cooking. Magic the Gathering wasn't on that list. They do not play Magic in Japan. And we had an argument in the Discord one time about Magic being like the #1 card game worldwide. No, it's not. Now,
it's up there because of how popular it is.
Yes, it is very up there. Very valuable cards, very dedicated, diehard fan base. But all these other card games have that too. And Pokemon will always outdo it forever. I mean, that's just how it is, man.
Maybe.
Dude, I am 100% convinced that Pokemon will go on for generations and generations and generations. I mean, you gotta think, bro. It's so crazy how Pokemon, bro, just Pokemon. They have literally outdone themselves 100 times tenfold, just gone all the way with ventures that I never thought were possible. And it's like, this stuff was supposed to, like, you see parents or like our parents' age, and they're like, Pokemon, they're still doing that. It's like, yes, and they're going hard. They are not slowing down at all.
I talk to people all the time, as like the older generation especially. They're like, Pokemon, so like you can go to a checkout and buy these Pokemon cards and make a profit. It's like, for certain ones, like
and I hate when people look at it like that. They're still looking at it because it's like the money thing coming out of it. But that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
And that's the reason it's still alive. Pokemon knows it. You know it. I know it. It is what it is.
Yeah. It's a bad
Do we
thing.
support everything
No.
that's going on? Absolutely not.
But at the same time, because of it, these games are more popular than ever. Because honestly, like we went to NAIC in New Orleans, Louisiana.
Yeah.
There was probably 6,000 people in that building.
Yeah.
I know there was over 3,000 actually playing the tournament.
There was a lot of people.
And there were thousands of people doing everything else that you can imagine. Even just like buying, like you can get
and shout out to Pokemon, because I don't think that like we could have been bored there.
No.
I really don't. I think if we wanted to go find something to do,
100%.
like they had Nintendo 64s chilling out there with Pokemon Stadium, and me and you, if we wanted to, could have just been like, hey, you trying to battle on Stadium? What is going on? I mean, they had they had GameCubes there. They had everything, bro. And it was really cool to see that. But yeah, dude.
And the sad reality is the popularity of purchasing these Pokemon cards has helped skyrocket.
Dude, the #1 entertainment, like, think about all entertainment franchises. Think about Disney. Pokemon is out now. Disney owns a lot of IPs, but like as individual IPs, like Pokemon outdoes Star Wars. Pokemon outdoes Marvel. It outdoes all of these huge names. And this is a company based out of Japan. Shout out Japan. Shout out Pokemon. I love it. And I think we're kind of on the same page with the tier list.
Yeah.
I think I'm waiting to see what Lorcana does. Speaking of, I think a Yu-Gi-Oh player just won Worlds.
Dinkum fam.
Yeah, shout him out, dude. He won
Lorcana Worlds, and I'm like, this is a guy I've met in person, I've played, and he's kicked my butt in the hardest card game in the world in Yu-Gi-Oh.
Well, we've seen that on both ends because Lorcana and One Piece kind of came out at the same time.
Yep.
And you remember we saw those players go this way and go this way.
Yeah.
Some of them stayed that way. Some of them went this way. Some of them went that way. They never really went back to Yu-Gi-Oh! But we know pro Yu-Gi-Oh! Players that are playing One Piece now, and we know pro Yu-Gi-Oh! Players that are playing Lorcana. It just never was my cup of tea. I don't like how the game plays. It's a personal preference thing. I think One Piece, dude, did it perfectly.
Yes. And that's why One Piece can last a very long time, if not, like you said, generations. Because even if we look at the anime, like I know they said that Luffy's going to find the One Piece soon, right? But the reality is, like, look at Naruto.
Well, we can't say that. We're just in the last part of One Piece, but dude, with the way One Piece goes, like this could literally go on for 5-6 more years. Like,
and they could go the Naruto route, right? Like Boruto is actually really good, right? Why can't One Piece do something like that?
I'm gonna tell you now, that One Piece ain't good. You gonna have some people pissed, dude.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure it's fantastic.
Imagine if we were still watching like Naruto.
Yeah.
Imagine if Naruto was still going on. I don't consider dude, look, bro, huge Shippuden fan. I know everything about it. I know everything about Naruto. Couldn't tell you nothing about Boruto. I don't feel it.
I've been watching it a lot. It's
I heard it's good.
It's not bad. It's really not.
But it's one of those things. It's like somebody was like, "Yeah, just skip to like episode 50, and that's when it starts." And
even
I'm like,
even the voice actress for Naruto says it's a little slow to start, but give it it's kind of like One Piece, right? Like you have to really deep dive into it.
the thing with One Piece, you have to go ahead and just. My advice with you starting off, and before we take our break, fall in love with every character as fast as you can.
Yeah.
Especially the Straw Hats. You'll enjoy it a lot more. And I think it, like Brian Ha told you today, your life is about to change. It really is, dude. I have not really watched another anime since I started watching One Piece. I can't do it. I watched Solo Leveling, which check it out. But dude, I'm chilling.
It's funny because I'm really not an anime person.
Yeah,
I'm really not. I'm a huge card game person because it gives me a social life. It gives me to travel. It's a free excuse to say I go to all these cool cities. But playing One Piece, I feel like I should know the lore of One Piece. So I should.
Yeah, and it's not like Yu-Gi-Oh where you're playing these monsters and you don't know what's going on until Konami decides to tell you.
Yeah, they don't even like really do the anime anymore with Yu-Gi-Oh. It's just the card game, which is fantastic. It's why Yu-Gi-Oh is going to be around for a long time. We haven't got a
new anime in a long time.
So what they're actually doing is they're doing the card. They're making an anime out the cards. Like the Sky Striker cards.
But have they done that yet? Or is it just like the shorts?
I think they did like short videos, which was very disappointing to a lot of people. They want longer form content. I wouldn't be surprised if they do that like sooner than later.
They did something with the Sky Striker because I know they did the manga.
Yeah.
But then they just dropped an animation not too long ago, and I was watching people like review it, and they were just like, we still don't know what we're watching. Yeah. Like we don't know what this is. Like they put like a battle scene of like the Sky Striker girls like fighting each other, and it's just like, but why are they fighting each other?
Are they scared? Like, are they scared to like try new things with Yu-Gi-Oh? It's like you've said before. It's like they want it to go away, but it just won't.
It's such a questionable thing with Konami.
Yeah,
I want to sit in a board meeting one day and just be like, "Are you guys idiots?
You're sitting on a gold mine. Like, there's
what are you doing?
It's such.
Do you need help? Because I'll help you. I will make sure you're fine."
Whatever, man. I don't know. That work for Konami that probably feel as passionate as we do. But
well, maybe I need to sit with them. Hey, Konami.
Well, Konami won't let them. I feel like
just call me.
Do what they need to do.
Just call me. I'm Northside Ploud at Pop.1 Podcast. Give me a call. We'll fix it. I promise. We'll get it fixed.
I'm sure.
Why not? Let's take a break. You want to take a break?
Let's take a break.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? We're going to interrupt this episode and tell you about our sponsors. Yes, our sponsors over at Dueling Guard. These guys definitely have everything you need for your TCG journey. Go ahead and head on down to duelingguard.com. Check out their deck boxes, their playmats, their binders, their anime art cards. They have it all, and I swear I love this stuff. I back it all the way. I personally use binders and deck boxes from Dueling Guards for all of my TCG play. When I'm going to bigger tournaments, or even if I'm going to smaller tournaments, they have everything I need to be comfortable in my competitive scene. I love the size of their deck boxes. They fit perfectly in my book bag without any type of clutter. You know what I mean? When you have them big deck boxes and it's just so cluttery in your book bag, it makes your book bag kind of get deformed after a little while. These are great for that because they're a nice slim fit. They also have so many different sizes of deck boxes. So if you don't like the size of one of their deck boxes, I'm sure they'll have something to fit your certain criteria whenever you're going to these big events. Their playmats are super high quality. I really, really enjoy playing on them. And their binders are peak. They're side loading, they zip up. They're just really good binders all in all, and they fit perfectly in your book bag. They also have different accessories like playmat holders and different bags that you can take out. I'm telling you now, you guys are definitely gonna wanna support Dueling Guard, man. They are very awesome in what they do. So go to duelingguard.com, use code POP1 at checkout. You guys get a discount. It helps us out a lot. We really enjoy having Dueling Guard around, and we thank them so much for what they do for the community and for Pop.1 Podcast. All right, let's get back to the show. Hey, we're back. Great Dueling Guard ad, right? It's so funny because like we're really just like hitting stop and go and then playing the thing. So we're not really actually watching the Dueling Guard ad, but
I mean that's pretty obvious.
Is it? I think people are like, man, these guys are listening to that Dueling Guard ad a lot, man. You think they know about going to pop1podcast.com, using code POP1 and getting 5% off of their
There's
discount?
no pop1podcast.com. You just made
Oh,
that
did I
up.
say that? Did I say?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, see, that's me trying to be commercial and funny at the same time. I mean to go to duelingguard.com.
And use code POP1.
Cold POP1.
Code.
Cold.
Cold.
No, it should be cold.
Cold.
Very cold. Very.
Yeah.
5% off. Bundle discount. All that good stuff. All right. All right, Alex. I got a question, man. I really do got a question, and it's something that has been on my mind for just a little bit, and it's something that, maybe we can implement these into the interviews too. Why do you think that players leave card games?
So there's always a couple of reasons. Frustrations with the community, frustrations with the actual IP, like the company that's running these different card games, pricing, not having a place to actually play. Those are all probably the top reasons why people leave different communities. If you're in a community and it's a toxic one, why do you want to stay in that? I've talked to players that are like, hey, I got banned from the shop for no reason. They got accused of stealing when they didn't steal, or maybe they did steal. We don't know. We have people in Yu-Gi-Oh! That's a big one. People are leaving because the game is constantly progressing to the point where they just can't keep up. It's hard to keep up. You put all this money into with no reward. So financially speaking and gameplay speaking, people just leaving. They want to try different things. People want to play card games because it gets you, out the house. It gets you a group of friends. It gets you to go do other things. It gets you an excuse to travel. But whenever the card game kind of goes against what's made this fun, what's made this special, people will go try other things, or they'll just quit altogether and find a different hobby.
Yeah. So my whole thing when I got into, and I started with Yu-Gi-Oh! I've collected cards forever. Could even put me in the scalper range back in the day. You know what I mean?
When you first started.
But I really fell in love with community, and I wanted to be more active with the community, so I started playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Started playing with you guys. Shout out Devin. Got me into a lot of stuff with Pop.1 sponsored players. We're traveling around. I'm really getting into the competitive scene of the card game versus the
casual.
The casual.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a local legend. I want to go play a YCS.
Yep.
I want to get into nationals.
I want to play a regional.
Yeah, I want to wear the jersey. I want to go out and represent my team and do stuff like that. That was what we got into, man. And it's like you said, the progression of the game, the ban list that didn't make sense. Cards reaching price points that are just kind of don't make sense. You know what I mean? It's like, we know this card's going to get reprinted in 6 months, but I'm going to pay $300 for it today because when that reprint comes out, the deck's either not going to be playable or they're reprinting it because they're going to ban it. Look at Barone.
Yeah.
Same thing. Barone was a card that you could only get out of the worst set ever printed in Yu-Gi-Oh! Synchro Storm. And we only know that name because of Barone DeFleur. And whenever Barone got its reprint, the next week, it was banned. And it was like, why would you do that to us? Why, I don't get it. And that situation right there was one of the reasons that I quit personally playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And I still did a lot with Yu-Gi-Oh! Don't get me wrong, holding tournaments and all this stuff and continuing to sponsor players and everything like that. But I just wasn't in it. I was looking at this other shiny thing, One Piece card game, looking at this other card game and saying, okay, new game, new community, easy to get cards, meta's easy to understand, so I can have that competitive aspect while being with the local community. They're into the meta aspect versus you go to locals, and a lot of locals don't want to play meta. They don't want a locals with meta. They want to play other formats, or they want to play other decks that aren't meta and, just want to try them out.
I think that's a small town thing, if I'm being honest with you. You go to a big city like Houston, Dallas, it's a different scene. But what's cool about those cities is you can kind of differentiate what each shop is. Like you'll have a shop that's very casual and you have a shop that's very competitive. I have a friend that lives in Dallas, and he tells me he goes to 7 different locals a week. But there's one shop he doesn't like to go to because it's more of a casual player base. But that's a healthy thing, I feel like, too, because everyone has different reasons for being in these card games, and people leave these card games for all these different reasons as well. Like, for example, I know someone who left Magic because they did Commander 4-man pods format, and it got political. Not like politics in America, but like political with how the game was played with those 4 people. It kind of became a toxic situation, and they just left because of the local community just not being a good, healthy local community. And that's why a lot of adults play these card games, is because what they don't realize is, or they start to realize once they get into it, it really scratches that competitive itch for a lot of people. You are talking about play testing. That's the equivalent of doing practice for like football or soccer. You talk about these big events, these tournaments. That's the equivalent of like going to a big game, and then you start getting ready for nationals. That's like the Super Bowl, right?
It's the same build as like a sports thing. Yeah,
it really is. You talk about like teams, which is cringe in One Piece, but every other card game really does have it with the jerseys and everything.
Yeah,
hopefully
I think One Piece one day will get there.
I hope not. If I'm being honest with you, I don't want to wear a Pop.1 jersey.
I made you wear it for 3 years now. That's so funny.
I hate wearing that.
But the thing is, and especially with us now, like, yes, we're gonna compete. We're gonna still play, but we're mainly going to these things to kind of get these answers from the community too. And venture out by not just getting videos of just our locals and getting their opinions, because there's different opinions everywhere we go.
We're community guys, and this is also like the reason why it's hard for people to leave a lot of times too. You have people that stay in these card games longer than they probably should, simply because they've built a life around it. These are their friends. These are who they're hanging out with. A lot of people will leave the game. They won't come to locals for 2 to 3 weeks in any card game. It doesn't matter which one. And they come back out of nowhere, and they're like, yeah, I just kind of missed this. Like, oh, you can't get away from it. But, like, really, you can't get away from friends.
We've seen people that, 2 of our good friends, I don't want to name drop them or anything like that, but they were with us every week playing. You thought they would never leave, and they did, We love them to death, and it hurts, not seeing them for so long. But, life gets in the way, or they just don't feel it anymore,
I try to hang out with one of these friends in particular. I still try to hang out with them, like, pretty regularly. It's nowhere near as much as it used to be, because we don't have a communal thing.
No, I mean, we were going to see, like, I go to locals. Now I go 3 times a week because we have another shop down here. But, for 4 years, man, seeing all you guys for 2 days out of every single week for 4 years, man, that's a lot, dude. That's a lot. And whenever that stops, it hurts. It really does, man. And I guess that's where the question was coming from. It's like, what, a lot of people will get in a situation and they'll feel such a euphoria from it, like this is going to be forever. This is something, and it's not, man. And moving on from past ventures, even if they were successful or not successful, it's always healthy to understand where you were and where you are now. The accomplishments during that venture, were they beneficial to you? Either way, it was still a chapter in your life that you're gonna always have.
It's a journey. Like it sounds cliche, but it's the journeys, the friends we made along the way. Like I have
the One Piece.
The One Piece, exactly. I have friends from, this card game I played, and I'm not really playing it as much anymore. I'm not saying I'll never play it again. I probably will, if I'm being honest.
Me too. I've played a Yu-Gi-Oh! Locals like maybe 4 weeks ago, and then before that another 4 weeks ago.
But I genuinely have friends I can hang out with that I met through this game and not do Yu-Gi-Oh! At all.
Shout out Michael Murphy.
Yeah, one of my best friends now.
Don't even have to talk about a Yu-Gi-Oh! Card.
Don't. Like, I talk to him daily. And
shout out Danny.
We really don't. Yeah, Danny. Like,
shout out Devin.
We talk about so much other stuff. We're friends. And we made this friend. And it's funny because I got into Yu-Gi-Oh! Jeez. Like, obviously, I played when the game first started. I have a really cool story about that. Maybe I'll tell one day. But, I got back into Yu-Gi-Oh! 2018, and, I was going through a really, like, dark time in my life. And Yu-Gi-Oh! In a lot of ways saved my life. Like, I don't mean to sound dramatic about it, but, like, it got me through the hardest point of my life, and I made so many friends in doing it. And I really believe that was like divine intervention to get me to the point where we're at today, doing this content and everything. Because if I never had the urge to play Yu-Gi-Oh, if I never had the urge to go to that local card shop, I never would have went down like this rabbit hole that got me to where I'm at today.
Yeah, dude,
and I'm forever grateful just for that card game for getting me there.
Exactly. Honestly, I have a kind of the same story in a way. When Fat Cats closed, whenever I lost my original co-host, whenever I thought it was over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because Fat Cats, and we'll get into the Fat Cat story one day. But you guys will hear about Fat Cats forever. But when that closed down, I thought I lost everybody. And we had made the Discord, we had done all this and everything, but it was like locals was gone again. And before Fat Cats, Yu-Gi-Oh was so spread out. I didn't know these guys. I didn't know any players. I didn't even know we had players down here. They were so spread out, and Fat Cats brought everybody together. It was my job to keep the community together. And the server was like, well, where are we going to play now? Oh, there's a shop here, there's a shop there, and it was getting split up again. Shout out to Devin, dude, for hitting me up. I was supposed to go live that night on Twitch, and I hadn't talked to anybody in a week or two. Didn't know if the Twitches were still going to be a thing or anything like that.
Now it's not.
Now it's not, but we held it on for a while. It's not, but it's not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Devin called me and said, what are you doing tonight? And I was like, I guess I'm going to go live. Or, and no, on the phone to him, I was like, you know what? No, I'm not. I was depressed, dude. Like, it was a very sad time. He was like, dude, I'm going to this locals in Bay St. Louis. Come play with me. So I called Lucy. I was like, you care if I, just go play Yu-Gi-Oh at this other shop? Yeah, go ahead, blah, blah, blah. Went there. All the boys there. You were there that night?
Mm-hmm.
I actually got second place that night at locals, dude. I was pissed because my opponent was on the phone the whole time, and we had to draw round one. But I ended up getting second place. Oh, dude, I'll never forget that. I could name drop, but I'm not going to.
Not, but it's still that's a funny story.
Yeah, dude, the whole time he's on the phone, round one. And literally, we go into time, and I'm like, okay. And he's like,
I know some people that would like really like.
Oh, dude. But it was, it was like my third week having played Yu-Gi-Oh. I'm turned up that I'm like, having a fun time or anything. But and I was like, dude, we're gonna do this.
We are,
and I'm gonna keep these guys together and really focus on that. And I did,
like skipping a little history. Last year, I was done with Yu-Gi-Oh again, and it wasn't. If it wasn't for Blue Eyes becoming a meta deck, like I don't know what would have happened because I started to develop other hobbies.
You left the team.
I left the team, and I pretty much am like done with the I don't know how to like phrase it, but like we'll talk about the team one day. But like I left Pop.1. I left Yu-Gi-Oh! And really Blue Eyes becoming a meta deck is what got me right back into Yu-Gi-Oh! With that short little break. But, if it wasn't for that and the pull of like still wanting to see everyone, I don't know what would have happened,
Who knows?
Who knows? But
I know I called you and I said, dude, you're not going anywhere. I'm going to make sure that we find something for you here because, like, with you gone, I was like, I can't do this anymore. Yeah. I was about to, like, drop everything. So, I'm not even going to lie to you. Yeah. I would, like, when you left, I was like, okay, it's over.
But for the longest, that was my identity, right? Yeah. Like, my identity was I'm a competitive card game player.
And that's fair, dude. That's fair. Trust me, because to us, it's awesome, dude.
Yes.
Professional card player. Jesse Cotton, you got Pack, you got all these pro players, but in the real world, because I know Pack, he works for corporate America. Like, you know what I mean? Like
I think Jesse does do this full time.
Yeah, but like, and I don't know, Pack might do it full time too. But all these other LeBlancs, all these other players, in the real world, there's a stigma attached to these cards because there are people that
So I've been seeing a trend on TikTok. It's called the Great Shift.
Yeah.
Of 2020. right? Where before 2020, you were kind of looked at as like a outcast of life for watching anime, liking these card games, things of that nature.
Oh, I lived through that. Yeah, I know.
And then post that, it's kind of like socially
It's
acceptable.
cool.
Yeah, and I can say like that's genuinely a thing in the last 5 years, because like when I first got back in, it was before the Great Shift. Like I didn't care. I'm a grown man. Like yeah, I'm playing these card games. I'm having fun. But now that I'm like doing this more and I'm traveling all this stuff, like people are actually like fascinated and interested.
Yeah,
asking
you know,
questions.
the whole Logan Paul thing, the whole
Yeah.
COVID thing, the whole everything, it really changed the aspect to a lot of people because, dude, I remember in 7th grade getting like, not bullied, but like I would wear a Naruto shirt to school because I've always done this since I've been a little kid. Like, you know what I mean? I've always liked to have my favorite characters on my t-shirt. You know, I got a little One Piece shirt on right now. I've always done that. I'm 32 years old and I've done it forever.
I quit in high school because I didn't want to be judged.
Exactly. Well, you see me, I never cared about that. You know what I mean? I was like, but I was always like the cool kid with the anime stuff. But I had friends that, you know, it's not like they couldn't hang out with me or nothing, but it's just like around my other friends around, and I feel bad for being like this, but like around my cool friends and stuff, they just weren't around as much because they didn't. I don't know. It was just one of those things. But like people would be like, "Oh, why are you wearing Naruto?" And I'd be like, "Oh, what are you going to do about it?" You know what I mean? Like it's just like that's who I am.
But everyone who's into that
they
didn't really have that
yeah,
benefit. But now it's like, hey man, you mess with that, I mess with that too.
Yeah, or I always liked this the whole time that I didn't want to tell you, but I always liked this stuff, and it's just like, dude, why didn't we ever talk about it?
And what's funny is I remember like looking back in junior high, a lot of the cooler kids would mention like the Naruto, but that was junior high. Then once we got to high school, it was like, nah, we're not doing.
They were all still into it. Yeah. Every single one of them.
Secretly.
Yeah, it was a secret.
I remember being freshman year of high school, maybe sophomore, and I'm texting this girl, and the entire time I'm like vibing to Naruto going on Cartoon Network.
It was great. Naruto was great. Naruto shipping, and you couldn't get me away from it, dude. Yeah. I was reading chapter and chapter when I was coming out.
But like with these card games in particular, it's like, oh, you got all these cards. And
yeah, the cards. Even in my high school, if you was walking around with the cards, it was kind of he was doing too much, bro.
What are you doing, bro? Like it's like, oh, you play Yu-Gi-Oh, you're a nerd.
There's actually a meme like that. It's like, oh, you play, what is that, Yu-Gi-Oh? You play Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yeah.
Well, even the guy's like, do you? And then like he makes a face like,
yeah. Especially like with Master Duel. Master Duel brought a lot of people into Yu-Gi-Oh. One Piece now. It's like I tell people I play One Piece, and the amount of people who are like, I love that show. It's insane. And then I show them my cards. Like I have this one person I show these cards to, and she was like, oh, that's so and so. That's Big Mama. That card looks good. That's Sanji. That's my boy Sanji. Like she got like really into it. You know, I'm not saying she's gonna play the card game, but
no. But like when you'll experience it at Bandai Card Fest, there's a lot of people that don't play the card game. They just really love One Piece.
That's how Pokemon Nats was.
Yes, just really. We were interviewing about the game, and like half of them were like, I don't know.
Yeah, one of the questions we asked, we didn't even post on the TikTok was, what do you think the best deck in the room is? And it's like, dude, we had maybe 2 people answer that question.
Yeah, I think majority of them were just like, I don't know.
Only like the players who actually played the game did answer
which I don't know either. We don't play Pokemon, we don't. We know I know everything about Pokemon. I just don't play the game.
We look into it. We try to keep up with it. We try to keep up with all the cards.
I'm a collector. I have a nice Pokemon collection. Don't get me wrong. I collect the cards. Me and my wife open them all the time. We know about them. I know what rarities and all this stuff. And I actually competed at the end of the Sword and Shield era. But I just didn't like the Scarlet and Violet, the way they were doing the cards. It was weird. But yeah, I love the cards. I love the IP. I just don't necessarily play it. And that's a big part of card games, though. Every card game has to have the collector's base. I've said this all, and I've had the argument with all the Yu-Gi-Oh guys, all the One Piece guys, the Magic guys, everything. If you don't have a collector's base in your card game, you're not going to be in the top 4. You're not going to be in the top 3. You're not going to be in the top 10. You got to have some sort of collectability with these cards to have. I mean, I don't want to ever say that scalping is a needed thing. You know what I mean? But hardcore collectors are a needed thing. And if it's like Yu-Gi-Oh! When they nuked themselves with the rarity collection. I think the rarity collection was a bad thing. For players, it was a good thing, but at the end of the day, like whenever I have a binder, and like you said earlier, the investment into this game, you know what I mean? When I have a binder that I need to sell cards to buy the new cards, and all of a sudden my binder goes down 60%, because of reprints, Rarity Collection 1 got announced, and I was like, yo, I can't do it. Like they literally like just took my ecosystem
Yeah,
away.
the
You know what I mean?
financials of it's a big reason why people leave card games.
Mm-hmm. That's a huge reason, man.
Huge reason.
With One Piece, now they're doing the rotation stuff, but since OPO1, I'm able to buy one box, get most of the staples from each set, and I'm still playing cards from OPO. Oh, well, not me personally, but like a lot of people are still playing.
That's healthy. So everyone gets their one box, and then the collectors, who want to chase the manga, they can buy multiple.
Or even the
figures.
alt arts. Dude, One Piece has beautiful, beautiful alt arts.
Yeah,
crazy.
I'm starting to learn.
But the thing with card games, man, and our whole thing with them is stay true to yourself, stay true to your community, do what you want to do. Don't feel like you have, like, okay, yes, you bought this deck last format, you spent a lot of money on it, blah, 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 and now it's not good anymore. None of the cards are worth any money. That's going to hurt. And me and you have been through that buku times. Like, that is going to hurt.
Yep.
Just got to roll with it, man. If you like the game, you're going to keep playing. If that was too hard of a hit on you, stop playing. Doesn't mean you can't come around, though.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean like you can't have interest in it. Keep watching the meta. Take a break from a format. You don't have to play every format.
People can't separate it.
Mm-hmm.
They're all in or all out.
Yeah.
That's a common thing with a lot of players in these card games. They're either all in or all out.
I think so.
And you don't have to be. You really don't.
No, you don't. You don't. You can have fun. It's still a thing.
Mm-hmm. You can just be around people, talking to people.
We got people that just come to locals and hang out.
Yeah.
They're asking about the card game.
When I was at Houston Yu-Gi-Oh! YCS, there were people that weren't even playing. They were just chilling.
That's me.
Yeah. They were just seeing
I've been to like 4 YCSs and I've never played a main event. I'm just there with you guys.
I'm going to locals now and I'm not even playing. I'm just
hanging out.
Yeah.
Saying what's up to the dudes. That's it.
Because they're the homies. They're the friends.
Been around them for years.
Yeah.
And like I said, every week, it's like we're in school or something. You know what I mean? It's like, or work. You know what I mean? It's just people that you're around all the time. And I think we can close it out there, man. I think this was a great episode. And I think we're a little good on topic this time.
Yeah.
You got anything motivational to our listeners that you want to hear?
Like, no matter how bad things seems to get, it's always gonna work out. It's always gonna work out. Just keep grinding, keep going. Take a breather. At the end of the day, this is a hobby. This is supposed to make you happy. This is supposed to get you around friends.
Yeah.
There will be light at the end of the dark. There will be.
I love it, man. I guess my motivation would just be stay true to yourself, man. And just be you, dude.
Hell yeah.
Nobody can make you.
Nobody.
And if you can just be you, you'll be all right.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. I'm Northside Ploud.
This is Alex.
See you guys next time on Pop.1 Podcast.
Peace.
Peace.